You know, in all fairness to Ted, he said he's the only one that beats me, but he doesn't say I beat him 2 or 3 times for every time he wins one. And we've won the important ones, we've won the big ones, and we won last night. I mean, last night was a romp. So, you know, look, Ted, the problem with Ted is he walks in with the Bible, holds up the Bible. You know, I call him Lying Ted.
I've heard that.
Puts down the Bible, and then he lies. I've never seen a man lie this much. But even with
You think for a guy who says he's very religious, you're surprised?
No, Ted, I call him Lying Ted. He's Lying Ted. And, you know, that's his name. And I think, frankly, that name is stuck because the evangelicals are on my side. They don't like liars. Evangelicals do not like liars.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about Donald J. Trump. Okay, how in the world is Donald J. Trump the President of the United States of America? So it was back in April of 2016, about a year ago, that Ted Cruz came to town as a Republican runner against Donald Trump. He came to my small town of Evansville, Indiana, and so did Donald Trump. And I was actually a volunteer for the Ted Cruz Foundation, or the Ted Cruz campaign, and I'm going to be telling you about what happened.
Delegates, a state now more significant this presidential election.
We're winning states all over this country. We have swept with huge majorities the last 5 elections outside of New York. And we're going to do that again here in Indiana. It's important that we do it in Indiana. We'll go on regardless, but we really need the support of this state.
My question about just how Ted Cruz will support the state didn't get answered.
We've lost hundreds of jobs.
Visiting with our voters state.
I know, but this is very important to our local economy.
She did spend about an hour meeting individually with constituents.
So the one scary thing is that it seemed pretty much 50-50 for Trump versus Cruz. And
Well, we've got an opportunity here in Indiana, but it's doing all this work right before the election that we've got to get the message out. And at least we need people to have the facts.
Well, how do you feel about Mr. Trump supporting men in women's bathrooms?
Volunteers hit the phones.
I'm calling for you today to see if you will be supporting Senator Cruz.
As Cruz worked the room, signing autographs and taking lots of pictures, many with families and children.
1, 2, 3.
Cruz spent much of her 8-minute address humanizing her husband of 15 years.
Ted's the kind of father who stays late into the girls' room rubbing their feet while they fall asleep, who plays with bingo on the floor with them.
Just shows his personality, his dedication to his family, his wife, his children.
it was a real big privilege to be able to be in a city that's the 3rd largest in Indiana.
Heidi Cruz making her rounds across the state, heading up north, ending the day in Fort Wayne.
As you can see, Heidi Cruz had support and popularity as well as Ted, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But first, let's show what exactly was it that got Donald Trump elected, what was his phrase, what was his plan.
We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice. Build that wall. 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 So, we're going to build it. Who's going to pay for the wall? 100%. By the way, 100%.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall. He should pay.
So even way before Donald Trump was even elected, the Mexican government said that he's not going to pay for that effing wall. Nevertheless, people voted for Donald Trump because of this plea, because he said, we shall build a wall, we shall make America great again. That was his plea. So back to Evansville, Indiana. Was it Donald Trump next? No, actually after Heidi, then came Ted Cruz to town, and then came Ted Cruz to town again.
And we are choosing which course to take, which direction forward.
So after that, after Ted Cruz was in town, then came the Donald. And, well, let's just say people in Evansville weren't too happy.
Fuck you, Trump! Fuck you! Motherfucker, you won't fuck your own daughter. We don't need you as president, homie. Motherfucker. There was a young lady, for the longest she was on that side and holding this side. Finally, they seen she was on the opposite side. They tried to escort her across the street. She pulled her pants down, told them to kiss her ass. Fuck Donald Trump.
What do you mean? I don't got to play with it.
Donald Trump was in Evansville, and you could see people went crazy. During this time, I was able to interview a guy, and his name is Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm from across the river in Davies County, Kentucky. There's two things that I want to see America know. I do not want an unending war in the Middle East, and I want to reignite high-value manufacturing in the United States.
All right.
In the primary in Kentucky, it'll have to be I will vote for Bernie against Hillary in the Democrat primary in Kentucky.
All right, but if it was the case, like here in Indiana, if you lived here, would you be voting then for Trump over Cruz?
I would be voting for Kasich.
And why would that be, sir?
Because I perceive Kasich as the only Republican adult in the room.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now, I know he's not popular with Republicans because I believe Republicans, the party, sees Kasich as too liberal, too what the Republicans call the mushy middle. But if I were voting in Indiana where you could vote, I would cast my vote for Kasich.
Wow, that's quite interesting. And now, what is your reasoning behind your support for Trump? You're explaining to me about bringing manufacturing, like manufacturers back to
We want to bring high-value manufacturing back, and we do not want to get into endless little wars in the Middle East.
And do you believe that Trump's campaign and what he supports would bring about peace in the Middle East, or relative peace?
Relative peace. The Sunni-Shia divide in the Middle East, they've been fighting each other for 1,000 years. I don't see what American foreign policy doesn't understand about taking sides between the Sunnis and the Shia.
Yeah,
and the other types of Middle East, like Middle East Christians and the Alawites too in the Middle East.
Yeah, so do you suppose Trump would stand against any terrorists and all Muslims would be enemies? Or...
No, I don't think all the Muslims would be enemies. I think Trump would stand against terrorists regardless of the terrorist religion.
Yeah.
I don't think terrorists have a religion, really.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is your understanding of Trump's support of a Palestinian state?
I think Trump would be neutral between the Israeli state and a Palestinian state.
And what do you think about that compared to God's promise to Abraham to give his children all the land, from the Euphrates to the Nile?
Well, that was written 5,000 years ago, and I don't know whether that's still valid today, 5,000 years later.
And would you also consider the possibility that these descendants of Ishmael would also be the seed of Abraham?
Correct.
So, in your opinion, they should have equal right to the land?
In my opinion, there should be an honest broker dividing the Palestinian part from the Israeli part. What I call an honest broker. And you have to understand that in there, when you divide that, what is also important in the Middle East is water rights.
Yeah.
So it's not only a division of the land, it's an equitable division of fresh water, potable water. Maybe technology will lead to the fact that we can desalinate water and have enough over there, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, in your opinion, who do you suppose should be in charge of Jerusalem? Should it be shared, or should it be Israel's, Palestine's, or half one and half the other?
I do not believe that Jerusalem should be the capital of an Israeli state, no.
No. And if it was part of Israel's property, should it be shared between the two? I
believe it should be shared, that they should divide Jerusalem, have a Palestinian portion and a Jewish portion. Yeah. It's only if it ends up in Israel.
Yeah, and do you also, would you also be inclined to oppose the Jews rebuilding a temple on that Temple Mount?
I would be opposed to rebuilding the temple, yes.
Yeah.
On the Temple Mount, because that would start a world war, because as you know, if they built a temple on Temple Mount, then that would involve the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and you know which Islamists believe that Muhammad ascended to heaven in that part, and it would just ignite a civil war against people that would be unending. So I would be absolutely opposed to that.
Now, if there would be some sort of miraculous event that would bring about the discovery of the Ark of the Covenant, do you think that could lead to the rebuilding of the Third Temple?
No, not on Temple Mount. I don't believe that the Ark of the Covenant still exists. I believe it disintegrated into dust centuries ago. I do not honestly believe it exists anymore. I think the Ethiopian church claiming they have it down in Ethiopia is a false claim. I don't think that's the real Ark.
Yeah, and have you heard any other stories of the Ark supposedly? Like, there's one in Ireland, there's a story of some guy in Tennessee finding it.
I do not. I believe the real Ark of the Covenant disintegrated into dust, returned to the dust of the earth centuries ago. And it doesn't exist.
And what would you think of the Ten Commandments? Because they were solid stone. Would have they just disintegrated as well?
Well, we have millions of copies of the Ten Commandments, so whether they're on the same stones or not, and Moses brought down, that's irrelevant. We have millions of copies. We know exactly what they say.
All right. Is there any ending notes that you'd like to bring into this?
I just hope that when Americans go to the polls that we act like adults. I wouldn't even want, if in a race, Trump versus Hillary, Democrat versus, I wouldn't even want to predict what that outcome would be, because between now and Election Day, that's a lifetime in politics.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Hey, my pleasure.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So that's Phil's ideas for you, and you can see he's pretty much neutral as far as Democrat versus Republican. He's a Democrat, but he's for Trump, and he actually be for Kasich, but he's neutral as far as this Palestinian issue, and I see that as a big problem, because that is really what Trump is saying. He really is neutral, and this is a really big problem. Ted Cruz came to town again. He actually came to town 3 times, whereas Donald Trump only came 1 time. I don't exactly know why he got all the votes, but it might have something to do with voter fraud. Who knows? But this is the problem. Ted Cruz lost the Indiana primary. Whether it was voter fraud or not, Donald Trump won Indiana, and Ted Cruz dropped out. This gave Donald Trump ample room to win the nomination of the Republican primary. Then, Ted Cruz wouldn't support him. He said, vote your conscience. And that's why I personally did not vote for Donald Trump, because not even Ted Cruz could even, could whatever.
And to those listening, please, don't stay home in November. If you love our country and love your children as much as I know that you do, stand and speak and vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket who you trust to defend our freedom and to be faithful to the Constitution.
Ted Cruz, he said vote your conscience, and that's why I voted for Mike Pence, and one of my friends voted Mike Pence. Some of our friends voted for other candidates like Evan McMullen and Gary Johnson and people like that, but I could not vote for Donald J. Trump. I just couldn't do it. With Donald Trump being an idiot and Hillary Clinton being a criminal, I couldn't vote for either one. And so we are in a position where we had a bad choice and a bad choice. And what did we end up with? A bad choice. Don't get me wrong, I do like Governor Pence, and that's why I voted for Governor Pence in the primary and then in the election. Governor Pence is a great Republican. He's a conservative, he's wonderful. But Donald Trump and they don't really get along the best. They have problems, and they're not two peas in a pod, okay? So really, I'm about done with this for today. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that Donald Trump won the nomination because of Indiana. I did my job. I was with the Ted Cruz, sorry. I was with the Ted Cruz campaign, and I did my job. I made 500 plus phone calls, actually 600, and I went to 60 houses with my friend, and we tried to get people out there. We tried to get people to vote for Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz got over 300,000 votes, but Ted Cruz lost. Whether it was voter fraud, whatever, I don't know, but Ted Cruz lost. We got stuck with Donald Trump, but America did vote the better option. We voted for Donald Trump instead of Hillary damn Clinton. And now it's time to make America great again. But I really don't even think it's possible to make America great again. We have no way to fix our solution. Fix the problem with the solution. We cannot make America great again. We have to do our part as individuals and just hope for the best.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the next president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Do you want to build a wall? Let's make a plan today. Don't want to see them. We'll have a door, but lock it every day. It will cost a lot of money,
but that's fine.
We'll get Mexico to pay. Do you want to build a wall?
I'm not going to pay for that.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
If you
Wait. Do you want to build a wall?
Well, maybe you want to build a wall and maybe you don't, but I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, if you like the content, I'm hoping to get 300 subscribers and hopefully get more after that. So I really appreciate a subscribe. Thank you and see you later.